Islam, Shalom, Hotep, Osio, Ola, Aloha. Greetings, tribe. This is your brother Zach Bay, Indigenous American Moor, coming to you live and in full effect. Thank you for joining me. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell down there. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Interact with my content. That's how the algorithm works on YouTube. So, give me the thumbs up and like my content. Interact with it. I appreciate it. If you would like to donate to my channel, the information will be down in the details via Cash App or PayPal. Also, the information for the study group and chess club will also be in the details of the video. Check it out if you would like to check out more information about it. Thank you. Okay, more food for thought. Let's jump right into it. I want to call this topic Nationwide Lockdown Part 2. And I just want to warn you about the threat of convenience. Convenience can definitely be a threat and a danger, if you know exactly what I mean. I want to go into it a little bit on this video, all right? So more food for thought. I want to start off by saying there has been somewhat of a lockdown since my last video, the first nationwide lockdown for the virus pandemic alert. I'm pretty sure most people know about it by now. Schools are still closed. Government still closed. I'm guessing until some kind of mandatory vaccination or the level of emergency is down. So the country is in a state of emergency at this moment, and that has plenty of effects. And things are definitely different, as everybody can tell. As far as mandatory vaccinations, I know mandatory vaccinations and testing is only for, I believe, like military and government workers. It's not yet mandatory for schools. I know Donald Trump has something that children are no longer it's no longer mandatory for children to be vaccinated. I believe he signed something on that nature. And yeah, as far as that, those are the only people I know that are mandatorily, have to be vaccinated. Government officials, military, stuff like that. And as far as testing, I know it's not mandatory yet, but I think it could be made mandatory for testing. At this moment, there isn't a standardized form of testing. I know about 2 forms of testing at the moment. There's a blood test where they test to see if you have the antibodies in your blood. And then the other test, I believe, is like a swab, which is like done either through your mouth or your nose to see if you have the active virus. Those are the only 2 tests I know about at the moment, but I know it's not standardized. Companies like Prybright are testing test methods. So, nobody has really capitalized, cornered the market on a standardized test for the virus at the moment. That brings me into the next part. Prybright, that company, has a lot to do with Bill Gates. They actually own the U.S. patent for the coronavirus. You can actually look up that patent online. It's US 101-30701B2. You can actually type that in on Google and pull up the patent information, and it'll let you know that the Prybright Corporation actually has that patent. Had it, and I'm not sure if they still own it at the moment. And I want you to check out Healthy People. I mentioned it in a video before. The Healthy People 2020 agenda. Also check out Global 2000. And there's also an event called the Event 201. It was held last year. It had a lot to do with like preparedness for some kind of like epidemic or pandemic outbreak like that. It was kind of like I would say like a dry run or something like that. You could check it out because a few months after that, this corona pandemic happened, and you can kind of see that it was sort of like a blueprint. It may have been planned in advance. Some people might have been prepared for this. I know there was a lot of movement of funds in stock markets. A lot of CEOs stepped down from a lot of companies, GE, Microsoft, just to name a few. Those CEOs step down from, like huge shareholders in their companies step down from being the CEOs. So, it seems like maybe some people might have had a heads up about this to avoid the financial ramifications of the market being down for so long. And, they might have just moved some things around in order to avoid it, which is completely illegal as far as I know. And, on so many levels. All right, moving right along. All right, I was seeing some information online about the CDC made like an official statement that they'll take anything offline, or they won't post anything on their website and their information about like natural remedies using vitamin C to combat the virus, or drinking hot tea, or using turmeric and garlic, stuff like that. Any kind of those natural remedies, they'll I guess discourage people from believing in such natural remedies and things of that nature. And I believe they're actually starting like a censorship campaign to remove things like that off of not only their websites, but maybe other websites, maybe like banning certain materials. Anybody who says stuff like that online, they could be getting their information removed or banned from different online platforms that actually work with or in connection with the CDC. And connecting with that, the FBI did a raid on a medical clinic in connection with the virus. They were apparently treating patients who may have shown symptoms or signs, or actually had an active virus, with intravenous vitamin C. So pretty much like vitamin C, high doses in, fed intravenously, directly into the veins to combat the virus. So the FBI raided that clinic. I'm not exactly sure if it's 100% in connection with what the CDC said, that how they were going to ban and discourage people from spreading such information about like natural remedies or things of that nature. I'm not sure if it's 100% connected, but it did happen not too long after the CDC made that announcement. And that segues into the next portion of this video about the nationwide lockdown. I want to talk a little bit about the state of emergency. So we're in a state of emergency, that causes certain things to be locked down, shut down. They announced that they were going to suspend certain constitutional rights in some states. Well, it can't be in some states because the Constitution is federal, so it has to be done federally. And along with that, the state of emergency also allows the legislation to bypass certain procedural steps. So like they can pass certain legislation faster. So, that's another thing you have to look out for. They can pass certain things, like pretty much like overnight if they deem it so. It doesn't have to go through nearly as many steps. It doesn't take nearly as long. So, they can pass a bunch of different things. One thing I did notice that came out that kind of went under the radar because of all the pandemic talk was HR 5717. That actually went under the radar. It was introduced to the House, and it's already been introduced. It's on the table to be talked about, to be discussed, and to be considered. And that's, once again, HR 5717. I'm going to go a little bit into exactly what the House Resolution 5717 is. Just a little bit of reading I did on the House Resolution. I actually read through the whole resolution, but some of the things that stuck out to me and that I want to bring to your attention is that one of the first things that's going to be considered is there will be a 30% tax on all arms being sold. So, firearms or guns, 30% tax on all arms being sold. There will be a 50% tax on all ammunition being sold. All ammunition, a 50% tax. So the 30% tax on all arms, and then a 50% tax to go with all ammunitions. And then they will also require that you have a federal ID to purchase either. So to purchase arms or ammunition, they'll require a federal ID to do that. So, that's goodbye Second Amendment right there. All right. So once again, that's the HR House Resolution 5717. All right. That's just one aspect of it. Something that kind of went under the radar with the whole pandemic thing. I want you to look into that. Also, the U.S. passport services. I don't know if you checked it out, but I definitely did. The U.S. passport services have been suspended due to public health measures. So they will not be processing any passports until pretty much they get the all clear. And what exactly does that mean? Okay, so I went to the website. It's saying that pretty much you can still pay for them to process your passport information. It's going to be a delay on it. Pretty much what they're saying is they're not going to do any passports unless they deem it essential. And it's only essential for people who are doing international travel and they're in a life or death situation, and they decide whether or not it's a life or death situation. So if maybe you live out of the country, if you have to get back home and you need a passport or something, or you have dual citizenship and it's a life or death situation and they deem it so, then they will process your passport information. But for any other circumstances, for anyone else, all passport services have been suspended. So I really hope, anybody who plans on, leaving the country or doing some traveling, going across the borders or something, already have their passports in order or, in line. That's one thing. You check that out. Check the passport website. And with that, okay, I want to talk about, of course, the 5G, 6G system that's been going on, coinciding with the pandemic. The 5G is being installed in a lot of places. A lot of people do not appreciate that the 5G is being installed so close to certain places like parks, elementary schools, different office buildings and stuff like that. There are really large towers that are really, really noticeable. Some are like camouflaged in, like made to look like trees and stuff like that. And then there are also smaller towers that are just like receivers to pass the signal along. Those might be as big as like a street light or something like that. But the 5G system is definitely already taking root. It's already taking root. And they're installing it, incrementally. So, with that being said, 5G has it has millimeter waves that it emits, which are different than the 4G technology waves. The millimeter waves actually can do certain effects that may be similar to like radiation sickness. And some of those, and some effects of radiation sickness is also like kind of like flu-like symptoms, stuff like that. I just want you to look into that on your own. I don't want to go too far into it. You know, you can look up the effects of radiation sickness, and you can also look up other videos on the studies and that they've done on the 5G technology as far as knocking birds out of the sky when turned up at the high frequencies, or killing a large amount of like the flying insects, bees and stuff like that, and how those millimeter waves can affect pretty much biological organisms, which we are. Okay, so long exposures to those millimeter waves can definitely affect you, and in ways that they haven't even begun to test or study, not substantially, not on humans. Okay, and I just want to bring to your attention that at the beginning of the Trump administration, his presidency, he did say that a biometric visa tracking system was on the agenda. So it's a goal for this presidency to online a biometric visa tracking system. So the visa system is for like immigration and things of that nature, leaving and going from from our country. So biometrics, and that can be along the lines of like fingerprinting, maybe like a retinal scan to scan your eye or something like that, or it can even be like a facial recognition, facial scans. But that all fall into the category of biometrics. So that's one goal of this presidency, which could coincide with the onlining of the 5G, 6G technology that can run these massive technologies that are being implemented on society as we speak. Other things that go along with that are the massive installation of facial recognition cameras. Those are being online, not just here in America, but other countries as well. I know China already online that technology with the facial recognition. Also, they have certain cameras that can test your temperatures. You might have heard about that. For the pandemic, they can test, they can see the temperature, whether or not your temperature is too high, to see if you're infected or not. They have some that are so sensitive they can monitor whether or not you're sneezing excessively or coughing excessively. There's also drone technology that has been online and green lighted that can watch civilian populations as far as monitoring excessive sneezing, coughing, and social distancing. You could check out these videos online yourself. The drone technology has already been green lighted, pretty much to surveil different populations. Very, very dangerous, very suspicious to me. You know, Big Brother's always watching. You know, that's frightening. Along with the facial recognition cameras and the drone technology, there's also things that like that they're trying to like camouflage the 5G, 6G technology with things like virtual reality, the self-driving cars, autonomously, faster uploads and download speeds. You know, these are things that they're telling people that are advantages of the 5G technology, but also kind of like behind the scenes, they're also running these this huge facial recognition camera grid behind the scenes. They're also like pushing the drone technology that can be ran off of the 5G and 6G technology grids. And also the RFID chips. Now that's something I want to go into maybe even on a different video, but the RFID chips have recently, within like the last few weeks, have been green lighted and okayed by the FDA. That's the Food and Drug Administration. The Food and Drug Administration have green lighted companies to pretty much implant RFID chips. So they say that they're pretty much safe to go inside of your body. That's a radio frequency ID chip. Yeah. So along with the green lighting of the FDA using the RFID chips and the facial recognition cameras, along with the surveillance drones, also Baltimore, Supreme Court judge green lighted and okayed Baltimore to use a flight surveillance system that covers 90% of the city, taking pictures every second for about 12 hours. It green lighted that, saying that it doesn't infringe on any constitutional rights of privacy whatsoever. And that was just passed a few days ago. So, you know, things like this, the 5G technology being in a state of emergency, legislation being passed so rapidly, and people with their head in the sand being forced to stay in the house, listening to a lot of propaganda, misinformation, false information. It's not really giving a lot of people a chance to connect the dots on exactly what's going on when it comes to this 5G and 6G technology that coincides with the Healthy People 2020 and the Global 2000 agenda, depopulation and mass vaccinations, things of that nature. So those were all goals outlined in the Healthy People 2020 to get like 90% of the Earth's population vaccinated. You know, and this pandemic coming up, you know, seems like nobody really has the answers to it as far as the media is telling us. There are a few doctors coming forward talking about how they're being offered money to say on death certificates that a patient died of the virus, or to give positive virus diagnoses. Pretty much, you know, just telling people that that's highly likely that they have the virus, or it's probable that they have the virus. Doctors have been coming forward saying that they've been offered money to do this. So, you know, I just really want to call it to your attention to use your discernment, you know, your God-given discernment, to decipher what's true, what's false, what's misinformation, what's disinformation. You know, I really find it suspicious. You know, it's kind of like a problem. Somebody created a problem, and then they just so happen to have the solution. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, keep your eyes open, keep your ear to the ground. I really hope my tribe is paying attention to a lot of things that are going on, and not falling victim to a lot of the hype and the misinformation that's going on, and falling victim to the fear, false evidence appearing real. You know, I would just hope everybody stays safe, stay informed, stay healthy. Definitely stay healthy. Eat right. You know, a healthy immune system. You know, you don't really have to worry about too much if your immune system healthy and you're exercising. So, you know, I just wanted to touch base with everybody. Thank you for rocking with me. Once again, this is your brother, Zach Bay, Indigenous American Moor. And I just want to end with a quote. Those who give up their freedom for security deserve neither. Benjamin Franklin. Thank you for rocking with me, tribe. This is your brother, Zach Bay. Islam, Moors.